Fuck it. I don't have an intro made, so let's just do some wannabe gangster shit real quick. Fuck it. Let's go.
Welcome to Nahh, covering sports of all sorts. If there's any breaking news, you know we got the report. Our one and only goal is to make this your podcast resort. Get you your favorite team updates, both on and off of the court. Breaking down everything, NFL, NBA, MMA. Not much a soccer fan, but might even cover Team USA. Is KD leaving Golden State? Is Jordan really the GOAT? Is LeBron comfortable in LA? We'll keep the team afloat. If GSP fights Khabib, will he fight him toe to toe? In a Wilder Fury rematch, who's always gonna go? We'll cover everything and anything you wanna know. Whatever it may be, we'll break it all down on the show.
All right, so what's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to Nahh Podcast. This is going to be a very special episode, as I have a very special guest joining me. And real quick, before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to Vince Anderson for getting this whole thing set up. But also give a shout out to my sponsor TK for hosting this real quick. But as for my guest, he's a former UFC Featherweight and a current Bare Knuckle Boxing competitor. You may remember him from his recent fucking war that he had with Artem Lobov. But my guest for the evening, please welcome this animal, my dude Jason the Kid Knight.
How's it going, man? I appreciate you having me on the show.
Yes, sir. What you smoking on?
Just regular vape juice.
Oh, okay.
Waiting on my sponsor to come with that with the CBD vape line, but they still haven't quite got the vape juice out yet, but hopefully they'll have it soon.
Got you. Cool. All right, yeah, let's get right into it, brother. So let's starting with health. Any nagging injuries, or are you just waiting for a contract to hit you and you just signed that bitch ready to go?
I'm waiting on a contract to hit me. I just started my training back not long ago. I had a pretty bad rib injury. Probably about 2 months ago, but it's pretty much gone now. I haven't really taken any punches to the body yet, but I've stopped hurting completely, and I've done a little bit of jiu-jitsu and a little bit of wrestling and shit at my little gym. Teaching my kids and teaching some of my adults, and I haven't had anything hurt me. So I think that I'm ready to go back to sparring and get the work in and get ready for a fight.
Cool. No breathing issues or nothing with the rib. Everything seems good.
No, everything's good to go. I'm ready to go kick somebody's ass.
Bro, I feel you, man. I could already see everything you post and you itching to fucking fight.
Yeah, for sure, man. I was supposed to fight on August 10th against Leonard Garcia, and then watching Jim Allers run through him, that just made me even more hungry.
Right.
I fought Jim Allers in the UFC, and it was a decent fight, but I felt like I won 90% of that fight. Went out there and dominated most of it. And to see somebody that I beat, go up there and just demolish somebody that I was supposed to fight, it's like, oh, fuck, that could have been a real easy paycheck. But yeah, I think that, I give Jim all the respect in the world, but I think Garcia, I don't think he's got what he used to have.
Right. Yeah, damn, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know you were scheduled to fight him. Who did he end up fighting?
Jim Allers.
Oh, he ended up fighting him. That's what you're talking about. Oh, got it.
Jim Allers finished him within just a few minutes. He finished him in the first round, and it was a brutal fucking ass whooping. Jim come across the ring wide ass open, and Garcia just could not hold up.
I just walked him right down.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh shit! I gotta look into that. I didn't even know they fought like that. I saw the the face-offs, but I didn't know exactly who Leonard was fighting. But yeah. Before we move along and talk about what you're doing now, I just want to get the whole UFC thing, the whole UFC release out of the way. If you're cool talking about that, of course. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So yeah, a lot of the fans out there was including myself, was shocked as fuck that the UFC released you. With you being one of the more entertaining bangers of the fucking company and a fan favorite. If you don't mind, just talk about it and just clear the air of the whole situation so we all know what happened.
Man, of course, I had lost 4 fights in a row. I lost my first fight going into the UFC because I fought Tatsuya Kawajiri on 2 weeks' notice, and didn't really get to train hardly any for that fight because I wasn't in training camp getting ready for it. I was nowhere near getting ready for a fight whenever they called me. I had just had my little boy November the 20th. Yeah, it was November 24th. They called me on November the 24th, the day that I had my little boy, and asked me, "Hey, you gonna fight in 2 weeks?" I was like, "Well, fuck yeah!"
Fuck yeah,
That's the
motivated
UFC.
as fuck.
And then I fight Tatsuya Kawajiri, who was number 13 in the world at the time. So I was unprepared. I was anytime we were standing up, I was fucking dominant. But he didn't want no part of the stand up. He kept taking me down, and whenever he took me down, he laid on top of me and landed a few good shots. Wound up winning the decision. Well, then after that, so after that, the next year I go on a fucking 4-fight win streak. Fought 4 times that year, and out of the 4 fights that I won, I got 3 bonuses.
Yep.
I got one fight of the night, one performance of the night for a submission over Alex Caceres,
Yep.
and then one performance of the night for a knockout or a TKO of Chaz Skelly. And then in between that, I beat Dan Hooker, which Dan Hooker, he has fucking went on a tear since then. So I beat some really good names in the UFC. And then, next thing you know, I fight Ricardo Lamas. That fight, I respectfully lost. I stood up with my hands down. He caught me and fucking just beat the shit out of me after that because I was in la la land. But, that fight, I lost it, and I respect him 100%. Gabriel Benitez was the next fight. I had strep throat the week before the fight, and at that time I got used to living that big money lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? It was like I went from fucking barely being able to pay my bills to $100,000 in the bank, and for a couple years, I didn't have to worry about money. I sit there and I balled out, and I knew that another paycheck's coming soon.
Yeah.
And by the time I fought Ricardo Lamas, I was like, oh fuck, I made $30,000 instead of fucking $100,000, and because the fights before that I would win, so I get my regular paycheck plus my win bonus, which equaled up to be somewhere around 50,000. Then I get a $50,000 bonus on top of that, and that's $100,000.
Right.
Well then, I got used to living that $100,000 lifestyle. Like
that fast life.
Yeah, it was easy to spend $3,000 in a week, $4,000 in a week, real easy. I go out for the weekend and fucking all my buddies didn't have money. Fuck that. I got money. Y'all my boys, man. We getting drunk this weekend.
Yeah, like fuck
that.
it. Y'all want to get arrested? I got you.
Yeah, just doing dumb shit, man. And I was a young kid. I'm still a young kid. I'm only 27, and 23, 24. I fucking balled hard. 23, 24, 25, at that time I was living
Yeah,
I was living a life. And I made a bunch of dumbass mistakes. But by the time I fought Ricardo Lamas, all this money had been coming in, and then next thing you know, I get a $30,000 paycheck, and I'm still trying to spend money like I got $100,000 in the bank. So then, whenever Gabriel Benitez comes along, I get sick the week before the fight, but there's no way I can back out. You know what I'm saying? I've done spent all my money, and then I've done borrowed another $20,000. So I have to fight this motherfucker to pay all this $20,000 back.
Right.
So I fought him, and I was doing really good, man. I was dominating the fight. Yeah, I was doing really good in the first round, and I wanted to take him down. I don't know what happened, but somehow his fingers ended up in my mouth. It's like he tried to act like I turned my head and fucking bit the shit out of him. He went to try to defend the takedown, and honestly, I think what he was trying to do was like grab my chin and pull it up.
Right.
Instead of grabbing my chin, he grabbed my fucking teeth. You know, he grabbed my mouth and was pulling my mouth up. So I bit down like a motherfucker. Man, natural instinct. Bit down. But honestly, to be real, I don't know if I bit down or if it was like
It
I
was
was
just a
just gritting
reaction.
my teeth kind of for the takedown.
Mm.
You know,
Or your
natural
head went
reaction.
down while his finger went up.
Yeah, but anyways, long story short, they stopped the fight right there. You know, he
Right, right. I
fucking
remember
cried.
that.
He acted like I bit his fingers off with a mouthpiece in. And anyways, fucking they stopped the fight, and then once they restarted it, I had fucking zero gas left in the tank, man. I
Just an
was, I
adrenaline dump
guess,
right there.
yeah, I had been on antibiotics and shit, you know, trying to get the strep throat going,
Mm.
and fucking whenever I come back out to the next, I mean, after they started the round back, I come back out and I was just super, super fucking gassed.
John.
So I went through the rest of that fight on pretty much all heart, and I sit there and I told her the ass whooping because of it. You know,
Right,
I was
right.
gassed. You know,
Yeah,
I didn't.
antibiotics will do that shit to you. I just got off a tooth infection like the other month, and that shit is brutal, man. Trying to do cardio on that shit, fucking A, man.
Oh yeah, of course. You know, like I shouldn't have fought the fight. That was my fault. I lost to Benitez. You know, he did his job. He came out
Hmm.
there and he performed that night.
Right, but you
But you
know that
know,
should have been a fight. You should have won, though.
yeah, the way I was about to say, the way I feel about it, you know, if I wouldn't have never been sick, would have never been on the antibiotics, and if I would have took the fight at a different time, then I would have beat his ass.
Right, right,
Uh,
definitely.
Then the next fight, I fight Makwan Amirkhani. I dropped this guy twice in the first round. You know, I
Hmm.
pretty much knocked him out, but the ground woke him up when he hit the ground or something.
Right,
But
right.
and then we go into the second round, and I've watched that fight over and over again for over fucking, you know, I think it was like right at 2.5 minutes of the first round. He never went for a takedown or anything.
Hmm.
He never threw a punch or anything. He was like gun shy. If
And
you go back and
backpedaling.
watch, I landed way more than he did before he ever took me down.
Hmm.
Well, then he takes me down like halfway through the first round. He has me down maybe a minute. I'm throwing up rubber guard, trying to throw up
Hmm.
submissions. He never throws a punch. He never does anything because he's scared to death that fucking if he throws a punch or he does something,
Gonna leave
then
himself
I'm gonna
open.
throw.
Mm.
Well, then fucking anyways, I I wound up I lost the decision, and I go back and I watch it. Fucking second and third round where they say that he was winning, even though he was on top of me, I was in control the whole time.
Right.
Judges don't see that. They're like,
Where was this
hey,
fight?
whenever you got somebody, huh?
Where was the fight?
That was in Liverpool. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, Liverpool, England.
Oh, yeah, okay, so, yeah, we already know.
But yeah, okay, it was his fucking. It was on
Yeah,
his side of the world pretty
yeah.
much. But yeah, I go back and I watch the fight, and even though my bottom, I got my rubber guard pulled up, he can't do a fucking thing because I'm making it to where he can't. He can't punch me. He can't fucking try to pass to a new position because anytime he'd try to pass to a new position, I would throw up a submission.
Right.
Anytime he would try to think that he was going to punch, I would throw up a submission. And the whole time I'm sitting there hitting him with little elbows,
Hmm.
heel strikes to the kidneys and shit like that. But they wasn't counting any of that. They was
Yeah, I
just
didn't count
counting
any
the
of it.
fact that he up there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then my last UFC fight, I fight Jordan Rinaldi, and exactly a week before it, man, I'd been out there in California. Well, I'm sorry, not a week. It was like 2 weeks before the fight. I was out in California training with Uriah Faber and them. My boy Brandon Davis, he comes up, he drives up, and he hits a bunch of mountain bike trails on the way down.
Hmm.
Well, fucking a week before I mean, like 2 weeks before the fight, right before we leave California. I mean, yeah, we leave California and we're hitting all the little trails on the way back. And we're gonna get home exactly a week or so before the fight, and you know, got time to chill. Well, fucking like 2 weeks out, we're on a mountain bike trail in Fruita, Colorado, and fucking I go up this hill, go down the hill, and then we're riding on the ridge of a mountain that it was so badass. But then I go down the hill and I'm coming back up, and it looks like you're supposed to go straight, But once you get to the top of the hill, if you go straight, you run off the fucking mountain. So you got to cut back to the left real hard. And so as soon as I come up the top of the hill, I seen like it was like I was fixing to go over the mountain. So I stabbed my fucking brakes, and I go over the handlebars, and I had an AT separation in my left shoulder. So this was 2 weeks before the fight. Well, anyways, I get at home, I'm rehabbing my shoulder and shit, and I get it to where it doesn't. It's not really. It's not healed by no means, but I could
It's
still throw
bearable.
punches. When it first happened, I couldn't even fucking pick my arm up, but I could still throw punches and shit like that with it. So I needed the fucking money. I was not gonna back at the fight. I had to fight Jordan Rinaldi. Well, we go in there and we start fighting, and right at first I throw a couple punches, and he comes in for a takedown. I try to defend the takedown, but my left arm's just weak. I can't pull him up off the takedown. Well, as soon as we hit the ground, every time we would hit the ground, he would go for a Kimura, and just so happened he would go for the fucking Kimura on that left arm. Well, I fight my ass off trying to stop the Kimura, and the next thing you know, he's on my back. And I don't think Jordan Rinaldi, I do not think at all that he's better than me at jiu-jitsu, but man, he was so much stronger than me. He was just as good at me at jiu-jitsu as I was, but he was so much stronger. So when he got my back, there,
got that brute shit.
Yeah, he was like a fucking anaconda. I couldn't get him off. But he made that for a boring fight. He didn't really try to stand up and fight with me. He just took it to the ground and did what he could to win the fight. Yeah, grind it out, and he won the fight. And he did what he was supposed to, so I'm not mad at him. But I still have one more fight on my contract. I thought for sure that I'll get another opportunity. This time I'll take my fucking time, and I'm saying I'll fight whenever I should instead of whenever I need to.
Right. When you're healthy and shit.
Yeah, but anyway, I did a lot of dumb shit that ultimately led to me getting kicked out of the UFC. But anyways, after the Jordan Rinaldi fight, I decided, I'm going to use a little bit of this money and try to invest in something and do it right instead of just blowing it. I opened a little gym right here in my hometown called Jason Knight MMA, and we were in the process of remodeling this little gym. We done rented the space, and we're putting the mats down, putting the bags in, painting the walls. We had to build a little room and shit for an office. We're in the process of doing all that, and the next thing you know, I get a fucking email. I didn't even get a phone call or nothing. I get an email from the UFC. Sorry to inform you, but due to your recent loss, we're gonna have to suspend your contract. Blah blah blah. All this bullshit.
A fucking email?
Yeah, man. I was like, oh.
What kind of shit?
Yeah, at the time I was like, fuck, man. What am I gonna do? This sucks. Right. Well, then I just left it alone. I wasn't that much worried about it. I didn't go post it on Instagram or Twitter, none of that shit. I just left it alone.
Yeah.
And, after about a month, something like that, a couple weeks or a month, DJPen.com, they hit me up wanting to do a podcast. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And then they asked me, one of the questions they asked me was like, how important do you think it is to get a win in your next fight? Being that you've lost your last 4. And I was like,
damn, you had to break the news right there.
I was like, I don't really think it's too fucking important at all, being that I'm not in the UFC anymore. And then after that, they announced online that I was a free agent and shit. After that, I had some Russian organization hit me up. Combat Corner hit me up. Not Combat Corner. Cage Warriors. I don't know why the fuck I said Combat Corner. Cage Warriors and a few other little organizations hit me up, but none of the bigger ones like I was wanting. I was wanting
like Bellator, LFA or something.
One FC or fucking, what's the other one?
LFA.
Yeah, no, not LFA.
PFL. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted PFL tournament. Yeah, I was looking for one of them to hit me up, and then next thing you know, I get this offer from Bare Knuckle as a guy named Frog.
Mm-hmm.
He calls himself, I think he calls himself West Coast Frog, but
Yeah, yeah. I
he's
was
from
talking
out,
to him yesterday, actually.
yeah, he's out from Cali. He's from out in Cali. He's a real cool guy, man. But
Yeah, yeah.
he hit me up and he's like, "Hey, man, would you fight for bare knuckle?" And he kind of, I was like, "Yeah, possibly. What are they looking at paying me and all this bullshit?"
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of throws out a little offer, kind of like a little shiesty offer, and just
Mm.
try. I think more or less trying to see if I would bite on it.
Right, right.
And I was like, man, I'm really interested in fighting for bare knuckle. I think it'd be fun. It's right up my alley. I
Mm-hmm.
said, but honestly, y'all need to talk to my manager, not me. So he puts David Feldman in contact with my manager, and then fucking, they started talking about possibly trying to get me a fight and da da da. Next thing you know, I wake up one morning and Artem Lobov announced that he was fighting Jason Knight in bare knuckle boxing. And then, I I had talked to my coach, and I've always told him whatever decision you make, I'm good with it.
Mm.
I'll fight anybody at any time. If you approve, I approve.
Right,
I got that trust in them that they're gonna do what's right for me.
right.
And I wake up the next morning. I was like, "Hey, Mikey, are we fighting Artem Lobov with bare knuckle?" Said, he said, "Yeah." I was like, "Fucking right, let's do it."
Dope.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
fucking dope.
crazy. Yeah, so
Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
I was like, what I mean, like the release from the UFC at first, it seemed like it was gonna suck. Seemed like that was the worst thing that could happen. But right now, I feel like I'm on a way better platform than what I was in the UFC. I mean, in the UFC, I made it to number 15 right before I fought Ricardo Lamas because I went on a little 4-fight win streak.
Mm-hmm.
But at, in the big pond, I was still at the bottom of the totem pole.
Right.
Bare knuckle, I'm one of the top dogs,
Mm-hmm.
and
Jump right in
fucking
there.
yeah, I got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I had fucking what a lot of people are calling the fight of the year in all combat sports,
Mm-hmm.
and on top of that, I had the war that I've been looking for my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like
Dope.
I love fighting, but I always wanted to fight a fight that people could remember.
Right,
And
right.
me and all we got that our first time out, so I think it was pretty awesome.
Fucking nuts, bro. That that fight was fucking ridiculous. But last question regarding the UFC, just so we can move on from that shit. Kind of like on the outside looking in, as and also like in a fan perspective, how do you feel about the state of the featherweight division right now?
I feel like Max Holloway is the fucking king.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that I don't really think that too many people's gonna fuck with him. Didn't Dustin Poirier just beat him, right?
Yeah, but that was at 155.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
See that at 55, Poirier is doing great things, but at 45, I don't really see nobody whooping Max Holloway right now. I don't see anybody beating him. Uh, Man, I've honestly put some thought into, trying to fight a few more MMA fights, seeing if I can make my way back to the UFC. Just, more or less to prove something to myself. Not
Of
really to
course.
prove anything to anybody else, but
It's just a
like
bittersweet fucking taste that's in your mouth because of that shit. I feel you.
yeah, like I love bare knuckle boxing, and I think that fucking I could make my home there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I know that I could have done a whole lot better than what I did. And I took way too many fights too fast, and I was having fun. This is what I
Right,
love to
right.
do. I like fighting. I wanted to fight as many times a year as I could. So in 3 years in the UFC. I fought fucking 9 times.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, if you go back, like you got Cowboy Cerrone and like maybe two or three others that fought fucking 9 times
Mm-hmm.
within 3 years. Everybody else that's in the UFC, they might have fucking 9 fights within a 6 year period.
Right. Right, right.
Uh, you know, I think if I would have got in there and I would have took my time, I would have slowed it down, and pull out when I needed to pull out and fight when I needed to fight, shit like that. I
Right.
could have
Just
done a
just
whole
did
hell
it
of a lot
smart.
better.
Right.
Yeah,
Like have more of a tactical approach and shit.
I pulled out of that bare knuckle fight on August the 10th, and that is the first fight I've ever pulled out of in my life.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
I fought 10 times as an amateur, and I fought 26 times as a pro. So out of 36 fights, that was the only one I've ever pulled out of. And you know, before I would say, fuck that, I'll fight. It hurt. Fuck that, I'm good. I'm all right. But that was just me being a dumbass kid. Like I feel like I've matured a little bit, and I've grown from the losses and being kicked out of the UFC and shit. I feel like
Like an eye opener, kind of.
yeah, man. If I'm gonna do this shit, I'm gonna do it correctly.
Right.
I'm not gonna. I got kicked out of the UFC because I fought half-assed a few times. You know what I'm saying? I fought on 2 weeks' notice a few times, and just little dumb shit is the whole reason I'm at the UFC. If I would have put in the work that I was supposed to, and if I would have, stopped partying and spending so much money and doing dumb shit,
Like invest all your time into MMA, pretty much.
yeah, I would have still been in there, and I would have been at the top of the division. I do believe.
Yeah, right.
I've got a ground game that can hang with anybody.
Dude, your rubber guard is crazy. I don't know how the fuck you're that flexible, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean, stand up wise, there might be some people that are more technical, but there's not a fucking soul out there that's tougher than I am.
Yeah,
And
no,
as
you have
far
one of those relentless pressures.
as far as wrestling goes, man, like I have decent wrestling, but I never really showed it because my dumb ass thinks that my jiu-jitsu is so good that, oh shit, you take me down, I'm gonna tap you out.
Right.
And I made that mistake a few times. I would, just basically give up the takedown, thinking that I'm gonna fucking break his arm or something. And then next thing you know, you got these boring
Just
ass
riding you
wrestlers.
out, yeah.
Honestly, like guys like Chad Skelly, he's a decent wrestler, but at the same time, he's very confident in his jiu-jitsu and he's constantly trying to win the fight. All right. If you had guys like that wanted to fight, hell yeah, give me a fight with them any day. I love that type of shit. But then you go in here with a wrestler who fucking just wants to play it safe. That shit is lame. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we're in a fist fight. We're in a fight. At all times, you should be trying to finish the fight or cause some kind of damage. You should never, ever, at one point in the fight, be laying there and fucking
Looking up at the
chilled up
clock
doing
and shit, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, what's so fucking pathetic is the judges are rewarding these guys for this shit. They're
Right.
instead of giving them losses, they're constantly giving them wins and showing them that this shit's okay.
Right.
And that I kind of somewhere along the way, I kind of lost the love for fucking MMA because of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you fucking train to be one of the best wrestlers in the world, then fucking you got to go in there and deal with some guy taking you down and laying on you, and not even showing any kind of jiu-jitsu skill or trying to finish the fight or anything like that because he's worried about getting tapped out. And he knows that all I gotta do is hug this guy for 3 rounds, and then fucking they're gonna give me the win because I was on top.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel you. It's definitely a fucking heart-wrenching fucking thing when motherfuckers is just grinding it out and just not even working. But I can see how you could lose the interest and love in that shit, especially when it happens like over and over again. But yeah, moving on. So me being a newbie and like a casual to the bare knuckle boxing scene, I've seen pretty much like the big fights of the organization, but behind the scenes, and excuse my ignorance when I ask this, but what's the drug testing policy like over there?
I know in Mississippi, I never took a drug test, but
Okay.
at the same time, I would have been glad to. I'd have been glad to fucking do the anti-doping and all that shit. It wouldn't have bothered me one bit. The only thing I ever have done is smoke some weed.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I quit that shit a few months ago, but you know, I mean, it's really the way I look at it is I don't care if my opponent's juicing or whatever else. As long as I know I go in here and I'm clean, I do whatever I'm supposed to do.
You're
You
fine with it.
know, I don't think steroids can beat me. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
I don't think that just because I got a little disadvantage, I mean, a little advantage, I'm not gonna fucking not fight him because of it. I'm still fighting the same man regardless. I'm still fighting the same skill regardless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he might be fucking a little stronger or hit a little harder, but oh well, I got a hell of a chin.
Right, right, right. He's gonna have to put you out then. Oh man. But this question right here is actually from one of my listeners. You actually mentioned earlier that you're getting paid more, but how is the pay? Like, you don't have to get into detail or anything, but like, is it like, you know, extravagantly better than the UFC pay or?
I wouldn't say that, man. The I've already posted it online. What I made my ninth UFC fight, I made $36,000, but that was because I lost.
Right, right.
If I would have won, I would have made $72,000. Well, bare knuckle boxing for my very first one, I got paid $40,000,
Holy shit.
and that's a flat rate. You know,
What
there
was the first fight?
it's
It wasn't with Artem, right? It was.
yeah, that was with Artem. You know,
Oh, it was with
of
Artem.
course. Yeah, it was with Artem. That's the only one I've had so far with bare knuckle is
Got it,
just
got it.
Artem. But you know, I plan on doing quite a few more. It's right up my alley, man. I fell in love with that shit. You know, I started this shit because I was a street fighter.
Right.
I was a badass kid. If you looked at me the wrong way, we were throwing down.
Yeah,
Well, you
yeah.
know, I was 14 years old, and then I found out about MMA. Found out you could fight without getting charges pressed, or fight without, you know, some kid's parents getting mad at you or some shit. And so I started doing it, and I've been doing it ever since.
It was
So
at
you know,
14, you said? That's when you started?
yeah, I started my first MMA fight. I was 14 years old, and
Oh, so you started fighting the same year that you trained.
I started kind of training a little bit in my backyard with a couple buddies and my big brother. I was like, I don't know, 13 going on 14, and the guy, he's my brother-in-law now. Is a guy named Jay Bullock. He was just a friend of the family.
Mm.
He heard about me getting in on street fights, and he kind of wanted to teach me how to throw straight punches. So he come over. That's kind of how we started out. And then next thing you know, we kind of slowly but surely evolved into MMA training. And then he goes out to the club one night, and they're passing out flyers for a place called the Fight Club.
Mm.
And he comes home. He's like, "Man, you ought to try this." Well, I call him up. I was like, "Hey, I'm 14. Can I fight?" I swear, the dude's exact words was like, "I don't give a shit if you're 12. If your mama, this is in Mobile, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? So
Right,
it's in
right,
the
right.
South. But yeah, dude's like, "I don't give a shit." He said, "If your mama signs for it, you can fight." I signed up that Monday. I fought that Wednesday, and then fucking here we are now. But yeah, the thing about it is, you know, whenever I got in there and I started throwing down bare knuckle, it took me back to fucking eighth grade in the hallway and shit. You know what I'm saying? It took me
Right,
back
right.
to fighting in the parking lots. That shit was fun to me.
Right, right. I got you. All right, now getting into the nitty-gritty pretty much. I see and I heard that Johnny Bedford, another former UFC fighter, if people listening don't know, he recently called you out. What's up with that?
Ah man, he called out me, Artem Lobov, and Jim Allers. And you know, I think that's just 100% because you know his division is weak. At 135, he's fought 4 fights, and all 4 of the guys that he fought, whenever he hit them once or twice, you could fucking see the fear in their eyes. You know, they
Mm,
didn't really want to be there because he had a little bit of skill. He
right.
had decent boxing, and he was a little bit better than them. And he thinks that fucking just because he's got good footwork and good combinations that he's gonna move up a weight class and fucking come scare somebody else. But
Mm.
he doesn't realize Jim
Oh, so he's
Allers,
fighting at 135 in bare knuckle.
yeah, he fights at 135 in bare knuckle, and he thinks he wants to move up to 145. but he doesn't realize that Jim Allers and Artem Lobov are twice the man that he is. Jason Knight's 3 times the man that he is. And he thinks that he's gonna come up here, he's gonna hit us a couple times and
Just
make
break
us
you
miss
guys,
him a
right?
couple times. He thinks he's gonna hit us a couple times, make us miss him a couple times, and then we're gonna get scared of him, and he's gonna be able to take over like he does with everybody else.
Right. He
He
thinks that
doesn't
he's gonna break you
know,
guys like he does them.
yeah, he doesn't know it that we're not gonna break. And I promise you, we hit way harder than them 135ers. We fight way harder than them 135ers that are scared of it. You put me in there with 4 guys that are scared of me, I promise you, I'm fisting to fucking dominate too. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's
right,
not
right.
that hard to beat somebody who's doesn't have any heart.
Right, right, right.
But he thinks he wants to really fight somebody. But I mean, he started talking shit, trying to act like he's hard just because he's won a couple fights. And I hope and pray that they book that fight because I'm gonna knock his little ass out. I promise you that. But I mean, even if they don't book it, you know, like I doubt they're ever going to because nobody really gives a fuck about Johnny Bedford.
Right, right, right.
But I mean, not sitting. I don't mean nothing by that, man. Like he just kind of pissed me off. I'm sure
Right.
you know somebody out there likes watching him fight and shit. I honestly I like watching the guy fight. He's fun to watch. But worldwide, people really don't give a fuck
Yeah,
about
right.
Johnny
You don't
Bedford.
think it would sell?
I'm not saying that they give a fuck about me either, which I don't care if they do or not.
He just wants the
But
matchup would sell.
yeah, the way I look at it, I don't see them ever booking the fight because they don't. That's nothing that somebody wants to see. Nobody really cares to see Johnny Bedford move up and fight somebody. Nobody really cares about him. But if they do book it, I'm beating his ass. I'm knocking him out. And if they don't book it, if he comes up to me and tries to act crazy in person, then I'm fucking him up wherever we're at. I don't care if we're in the middle of the venue. I don't care if we're outside in the parking lot. Like I told him, I sent him my address. I told him come to the house, and we can throw down in the backyard if you want to. You know what I'm saying?
Shit.
I don't think Johnny Bedford's looking for a paycheck. He's hoping that he can fight a big name or fight somebody with some hype behind them and get paid a good paycheck.
Gotcha.
Which I understand. I hope he does get a good paycheck. But fucking, you know, the way I look at it, I didn't.
You just say how he's trying to use your name off of it, though.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, the only thing that, yeah, like I told him, he said something about a 4-man tournament against me, Jim Allers, and Artem Lobov. So he said I'm a 135, and I bet I still come out on top. He said something about line them up, they all fall or some shit.
Oh,
I
so
was
he was
like,
talking reckless.
yeah, I said, fuck a tournament, fuck a paycheck, fuck a contract. Come fight me in the backyard. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is he's wanting a money fight. And like I don't care about the money, man. I started this shit for the fun of it. If money
This is
comes
what you do.
along with it, but I learned a few years ago that it's not all about the money, you know, like that took the fun out of it for me. Once the money got involved and all the stress of having to pay your bills from fighting got involved, then fucking it got to where it took the fun out of it. Like I've got it now to where all my bills are paid without fighting. So I go back to fight. It's all for the love of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just to have. Like I've got my house. It's paid for. My truck out there. It's paid for.
Nice,
My
nice.
4-wheeler is paid for. You know, like everything that I got is paid for. So now I can stay at home if I want to, and fucking, you know, if I need to go to work, whatever, I can pay my bills. I don't have to do it by fight.
Right.
And
Like you're set right now if you need to be.
yeah, if I need to be, I'm good. So I'm not tripping to try and make fighting my sole provider or whatever. Now it's
Right,
just
right. It's not like an obligation.
Yeah. See where I fucked up, man, in the UFC, I let it become to where it was like a job. You know what I'm saying? Like I almost hated going to the gym because I was I was so stressed out, worried about winning the fight, and I had to do this, I had to do that. It felt like I absolutely had to do shit. You know, I made it to the UFC. I was working till 5 o'clock every afternoon, and I get off work. I go straight from the shipyard to the gym. I get there greasy, nasty, dirty as fuck. Change my clothes, go out there, train for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I do that fucking 3-4 times a week. And I go fight my fight, you know, whatever it was, you know, whatever little sanctioned fight it was that was coming up, I'd fight that fight. And I went 16-1 like that, you know, working all day and then training after work. And I made it to the UFC, and it's like, oh, now we got to train 6 hours a day.
Right.
Why in the fuck are we training 6 hours every day? That ain't fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't.
Oh, that was your decision, or that was like your coach's decision?
It was a little bit of both. You know, at first I thought that's what I needed to do.
Right,
I got
of course.
the money. Let's train fucking all day every day. Let's train for 2 hours, 3 hours in the morning, then let's turn around and train 2-3 hours at night.
Right.
And then after a little while, like I would miss one training class if I missed the morning for a couple mornings or some shit. But I would still train at night. But the next thing you know, my coaches, my big brother, everybody's all jumping down my throat because I haven't trained at all this week.
Right.
Like, motherfucker, I'm there 5 days out of 5, but fucking I didn't train the extra classes.
Right.
But yeah, man, it got to where it just wasn't fun for me, man. And I think that
it would just be more stressful than fun, pretty much.
Yeah, as long as I keep it fun from here on out, I know that I'll do great.
Gotcha. Only 3 more questions, bro. Moving on to another fight rumor. I see you and Artem going back and forth, posting some shit about a rematch. I don't know if you're even supposed to talk about it yet, but is there any updates on that yet, or nothing yet?
Man, we're trying to get it worked out. I'm trying to. My coach is trying to. He's supposed to be talking to David Phillips tomorrow, and you know it's a possibility. It's nothing guaranteed. It's just I'm hoping that it happens.
Pretty much a verbal agreement right now.
Yeah, Artem said he's down, and I said I'm down, and I think the rest of it's all in the wash. You know, I hope it all comes out, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully within the next few days. I'll have some kind of fight booked, whether it's Artem or fucking Johnny Bedford or whoever else. I don't care. But I told my coach I'm trying to fight again this year. Probably gonna be November, but I'm trying to fight ASAP.
But more than likely, if it is gonna be someone, it would probably be one of those 2.
If it's gonna be anybody, it's probably gonna be Artem.
Right.
Or somebody else. I just about guarantee they're not going to give me Johnny Bedford, even though I would like to fight him. I'm almost 100% that they're not going to give me Johnny because I don't see it happening. They've got him. He's 4-0. He's the 135 champ, and they pretty much gave him a bunch of easy fights. I don't see why they would want to give him a tough ass fight and him lose all his hype or whatever.
Right.
I don't know. Let's see. You see that, like, on Instagram, I posted something about me and Artem fighting, and then a bunch of people got behind that shit. I posted something about me and Artem fighting on Twitter. A bunch of people got behind that shit. Well, Johnny posted something about trying to fight Artem, and I think he's got 3 people who commented on it. And you know what I'm saying? Like, and then he tried talking a little bit of shit to me, and I think like fucking 3 or 4 people commented on it, and guess who they were? They were my people. There was nobody that could give a fuck about Johnny Bedford. So I don't see how that's smart for Bare Knuckle. They're not gonna make a bunch of money off of a fight that nobody really cares to see.
Right.
They're gonna try to book what everybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about me versus Artem again, and I think that's what they're gonna book. And I hope that's the case.
Yeah. Everything I've been like searching with Bare Knuckle Boxing, that's literally like just about every fucking post with the you know, like when you search up the hashtag of Bare Knuckle Boxing, that's about every fucking post right now is about you and Artem's rematch if it happens.
Yeah, man, I'm hoping it does. Because honestly, I don't feel like I lost the first fight. If you go back and watch it, it's very fucking close. It was
Mm.
close enough that it went either way. But you know, they made a few bad calls.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it twice today just to you know to try and kind of see where it could have went his way. But
We're still in, all right.
there's
Sorry about
two
that.
different times they called it a knockdown for Artem where I fell. You know, like I got tripped up
Yeah,
over
yeah,
my
I saw.
feet
Mm.
and I fell down. There was once I tried to grab him with my left arm in like a tie plum, and he ducked his head back, and I slipped and I
Mm.
fell.
And
And
they called it as a
as I was
knockdown.
slipping, he pushed me, but they counted that as a knockdown. There was another time that he pushed me and I fell down. You know, of course, my equilibrium was probably off from a
Mm.
fucking couple punches before that.
Of
He
course.
pushed me and I tripped over my own feet, fell. They counted that as a knockdown. There was one time I caught him with a good left, and fucking Dan Mergliotta was standing behind him instead of fucking to where he could see the knockdown. So Artem jumps up protesting, acting like he slipped,
Mm.
and of course they caught him to slip. But you know, I feel like I did enough to win that fight. Like especially if you watched in the fourth and fifth round, it was like Artem was giving up. He was done. He
Right,
didn't
right,
even
right.
want to fight. But I knew better, man. They had already looked at Polly versus Artem. They was already trying to book that fight. I knew
Right.
not to let it go to the judges. So, you know, that's all on me. I shouldn't have never let it go to the judges. All I'm asking for is another chance. Get me back in there so that way I can put him out this time. I can put him
Right.
away. But
Mm.
that's all I want to do. I want to go in there and I want to leave it out of the judges' hands. You know, don't get me wrong. I like the fuck out of Artem. Me and him get along really good. When I met him in person, wound up being one of the coolest guys I've ever fought.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not change the fact that I wanna fight him and I want to fight him harder.
You
And
want
I
to get
want
that
him to
dub
bring.
back.
Yeah, I want him to fight harder. And of course, I would love to knock him out. I would love for him to be the one who loses the fight.
Right,
But
right,
at the
right.
same time, I would rather him knock me out than us go to a decision again. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I want this fucking next fight to
You
end
want
in
real
a.
validation with this fight.
Yeah, I want it to be a guarantee of who the fucking better man is. You know what I'm saying? I
Right,
want
right,
somebody
right.
to be sleeping on that.
Are you going to negotiate for more than 40 grand this fight? If it happens, I mean.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's what I want. I want to try to for sure. Uh, my coaches, they do all of that for me, but fucking right, I don't want to cut my face up again for 40 G's. But
Uh,
at the same time, I'll fight him. I'll fight him in the backyard just like I would Johnny Bedford. Yeah, I'm game.
you're
But
fucking crazy, bro.
like I said, of course the money's great. I would love to have the money come along with it, and God knows I can use it right now. You know,
Right, right, right.
I've been used up the 40 G's that I had because you know I was getting behind from the UFC and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I've used up the 40 grand, and right now I've got all my bills paid. I don't owe anybody any money, but at the same time,
It's always good to have
I'll
some
go
money,
hit
though.
I, I might go hit a shutdown next week just to fucking put a few extra grand in my pocket or
Right,
whatever.
right, right.
But at the same time, fucking 60 G sounds a whole lot better than two or three.
Yeah. I feel you.
But
Uh,
regardless, though, man, like I said, I'd fight him for free, man, just because I know it's gonna be fun. I know that I'm gonna fucking leave out of there feeling accomplished.
mm-hmm.
Win, lose, draw, I'm gonna feel like fucking I did my best. I went out
Yeah.
there and
You
I
just
put
need
on a
some
show for everybody.
validation from that fucking fight.
Yeah, man. Like if you go back and watch at the end of it, they ask Artem, "Where do you put this among your best fights, among your favorite fights that you've had?" He said, Where do you rank this among your favorite fights that you had?" He said, "Oh, this is the best.
Mm.
This was the best fight he's ever had." And of course, neither one of us showed the skill that we have. We fucking we didn't stay technical. We went out there and we fucking both of us said fuck it. You know,
Yeah, the moment
about
both you guys landed y'all first punch, it was like that was it.
yeah, it was about 30 seconds into the fight. We was like, fuck it, let's go. It's time to bang.
Yeah,
And you want to go, motherfucker? Let's go.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's kind of how it was, you know.
It's fucking
And
amazing, dude.
we didn't either want to show the skill that we could show, and that's cool with me. We had a hell of a fight. It was a lot of fun, and I know that next time I'm going to try to show a lot more skill, try to do a lot more technical stuff. But at the same time, if we get into a fucking brawl and we just beat the shit out of each other and I come out there cut up, it's going to be worth it, man, because I'm going to be a hell of a story to tell.
Oh yeah, you down with any direction that shit goes? Fuck it. All right, cool. All right, last two questions before I let you go. Really simple questions. Has nothing to do with fighting at all. You're from Mississippi, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey man, if I ever come down and visit, you got me. You gonna show a pimp around and shit?
Yeah, sure. Gotcha, man. We'll take you mud riding.
Oh shit, I'm definitely gonna break an arm or some shit.
Nah,
I'm down though. I'm down, bro. Let's fucking do it.
it's mud
Last.
riding. We'll go down there and play some blackjack at the casinos.
Oh, you gonna get me in super trouble, bro.
Yeah.
My fiance ain't gonna let me go now just because you said that. I gotta edit that part out.
I gotta edit that for now.
But last question. I always end the interview with this. If I send you one of my Not Be podcast hats, would you rock that shit?
You're fucking right, man, for sure.
Oh yeah, I'd like to hear that, brother. Thank you. All right, let's wrap this up, dude. I had a fucking blast. We chopped this shit up for fucking 50 minutes, dude. Fucking amazing. I had a fucking blast doing this. Much respect to you and what you do. You know what I mean? Fighters like you, you know, is pretty much what makes the world of combat sports what the fuck it is. I want to thank you for being down to do this show. You know, giving me a little bit of your time to update the world on what you're going through and what you're doing right now, and helping me build my name up. All in all, you know, what I mean, another quick shout out to Vince for getting this whole thing set up. And yeah, dude, thank you for this.
Yeah, man. Vince is one of my sponsors as well. Uh, he owns a little business called My Nerdy Neighbor.
Hmm.
He's helping me get the Mississippi Mean Entertainment started. You know, we're gonna try to start like a little, you know, kind of like a fight clothing
Yeah, yeah, he was
type.
actually telling me about that you were trying to get an MMA organization going, right?
No, we have our own organization going already. It's Empire FC. Me, my brother, one of my best friends. His name's Christian Garola. His brother Louis Garola. We all threw in as partners, and we have our own little fight promotion. I was actually going to say something about that.
I was
It's
supposed to
called
bring it up
Empire.
earlier and I fucking forgot to.
Yeah. It's called Empire FC. We have a fight coming up next weekend on the 31st. It's called Ladies of War. We've got all the women from down here, you know, from Mississippi, Louisiana, Florida, you know, all these southern states.
It's
They're
just all female card.
yeah. So all females. We got the best from around, all fighting on our card, and then we got, you know, some younger ladies. They're all going to be competing in you know, the jiu-jitsu super fights. I don't know if you know what those are, but it's just where, you know, submission only jiu-jitsu matches.
Gi
We
too
have
or no
that as
gi?
well. No-gi. It's all no-gi. But
Gotcha.
yeah, man, we started our own little promotion, and we do a little bit of combat jiu-jitsu, a little bit of jiu-jitsu super fights, a little bit of MMA. Sometimes, you know, we'll even throw in a kickboxing match. We're gonna start doing. It's called like a slugfest, kind of like the what's it called? The tough man competitions where you go in there and you put on boxing gloves, and the guys, it's 2 45-second rounds, 1 minute round, and they just gotta fucking give it all they got. But it's kind of like a tournament style. But the way you do that, you sign them up. You got 4 guys who fight. You know, you wind up, one guy has about 4 fights, and say there's 10 people in the division. One guy fights 4 times, the other guy fights 4 times, and they meet each other in the finals. Winner gets $1,000. You know, we're gonna start
Jeez.
doing shit like that as well. But
A
You know,
savage.
this will be our third show, and you know, so far we've had two shows that sold just about more than anybody else down here on the coast, other than Bare Knuckle, of course. You know, Bare Knuckle.
Right.
Thanks to yours truly, we fucking sold a shit ton that night. Uh, I got I got so much support down here in Mississippi,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody came out that night to support me when I fought Artem Lobov. Uh, you could hear the fucking USA chants and
Mm-hmm. Oh
Jason,
yeah, the crowd was
Jason.
fucking wild that night.
Crazy. That was all my people, and I thank them so much for being there. But yeah, for sure, man. Anybody that you know gets a chance, make sure you watch Empire FC next week. It's Ladies of War, August the 31st. I think we're gonna go Facebook Live for that one.
Cool.
And anybody that can make it in person, if you need tickets, hit me up and we'll get you some tickets.
Cool. On Instagram, message me like a flyer ad kind of thing. You know what I mean? Whatever you guys got, so I can share it for you too.
Yes, sir, for sure. But yeah, man,
Cool.
Vince was one of my sponsors. He owns a little business called My Nerdy Neighbor. He's helped me out with the Mississippi Media Entertainment. We're gonna start like a little, you know, kind of like a fight shirts and rash guards and shit like that.
Mm.
And then also I got another sponsor, little CBD shop. Still waiting on my CBD vape juice, by the way. It's called Neutral Way Shop. They're the shit, man. They send me my CBD gummies and all that good stuff. And if you haven't tried CBD, you got to, man. I'm telling you, the stuff.
Oh
I
yeah.
went from
Yeah, one of my
order.
sponsors is a CBD creator. Smokey Hash. Shout out Smokey Hash. I forgot to do that at the beginning of the show, but and
Man, I
I got
mean,
mine right here.
yeah, man. I went from sore shoulders, sore knees, and shit like that to it's really helping out, man.
Hmm.
It's incredible what the stuff does. You know, it's a really medicinal plant. So
Hmm.
try it out for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, definitely. Hey man, again, thank you so much for doing this shit. Let's chop it up again, especially whenever you get something lined up, your next fight. Let's, you know, what I mean, if you have the time, let's chop it up again and talk about it.
Yes, sir, for sure, man. I'll like always get with my boy Vince or message me, and if I can't get right back with you, I'll get with Vince and I'll tell him, hey man, try to get a time lined up for us,
Hmm.
and we'll make it all work out. I'm down anytime, bro.
Cool,
And
brother.
anybody else out there with podcasts, I promise you, I don't care if you got 2 followers, 10,000 followers, 10 million followers. It doesn't matter to me. If I can help you, you can help me. Let's get it done.
Definitely, brother. I appreciate that so much. All right, man. I'll see you. This was Nabi Podcast. I am your host, Sani Nabi, with special guest Jason the Kid Knight, and we motherfucking out. Jason, thank you, brother. I'll see you.
Yes, sir. Peace. Have a good one.
You too.